Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you so much on giving a Sunday evening, both Geeta ma'am and Saujanya. It's my pleasure to have the conversation and moderating between you two. I wanted Rona and Sajani to join, but due to some personal commitments, they couldn't make it. But I'll catch hold of them later. But thank you so much on this wonderful occasion. Right, I'm really honored to have Dr. Geeta as well part of this conversation. Thanks for accepting, and thank you, Saujanya. The topic. I mean, I started this whole webinar session in month of March. So one of the it was the month for women, and not just limiting 1 month, but I thought, okay, one conversation we should do with strong women who had influenced and I know worked with me, or I know I'm seeing them doing things for the society. So I have been influenced strongly from my mom, my grandmother, and my wife. They are my strong women in my life, and Saujanya and me work together. And I'm seeing a lot of inspirational work from you, Dr. Geeta, and it's definitely good to share and see help the other women out there, and people who want to make it big, women who want to make it big, and working in the corporate ladder, and having some limitations and self doubt. So how do we help them by through this conversation? So it's more on my initiative is more to talk about what we see as barriers, and how you've overcome, share your personal journey, and how it can help the others, right? So with that, I'll start. The topic is unleashing women's potential, and coincidentally, I read a recent article from Forbes, so where it was by Mary Gregory. She's the leadership coach in Forbes. She has, I think I'm just reading the exact quote, what she has mentioned is women have unique skills and qualities essential for effective leadership, but achieving equality in the workplace still feels like a never-ending uphill battle. So that's her quote. She's saying so. With in 2024, we when so much of technology advancements happening, right? So this is the quote from the Forbes and the leader, and she actually refers to even the article and the uh, works McKinsey's report from Women in Workplace, so which really talks about how things have not evolved while there is a lot of advancement in technology. So I'll start from there, and want to hear from you, Dr. Geeta. I'm from your own personal journey, right? So uh, what do you think will help women to actually bring their potential out, right? What are the barriers you have seen from your journey, from leading the AI lab in Xerox to starting Niramai?
Yeah, hi. Thanks for having me on your show and nice meeting you, Sanjana here.
Yeah, sorry. I think I'll do a quick introduction. I think I missed that. So I've noted down a very detailed. So I think Dr. Geeta Manjunath is a computer scientist, PhD in AI and data mining. She led the AI lab with started with HP, worked in CDAC initially, and then has her PhD from IISc, and led the whole AI lab for Xerox, and has been pioneer in the AI industry for a while, and I think when I looked at her accomplishments, it's amazing and very inspiring. And started Niramai in 2017, if I'm not wrong, and then has successfully patented 33 patents. So for Make in India products, right? So and then especially one of the innovation which is actually approved by both US and India. So that's her, and then most awarded health startup is Niramai, if I have stated it right, and she's also won the Women Tech Global Awards in the Innovator of the Year in 2021, and recently spoke in UN uh, for a short about the awareness for breast cancer. A lot to talk about, but I hope I did justice on your
Thank
interaction.
you. Thanks for doing the homework on my LinkedIn post. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. But just to sort of extend that for those of you who don't know, Niramai, I would rather talk more about Niramai than my
Yeah.
resume. So Niramai is a deep tech startup from Bangalore. which is trying to address the largest problem in women's health, which is breast cancer. And we are trying to do that with techie type of solution, with AI being a differentiator. So we have developed this new method of detecting breast cancer, which is completely privacy aware, which is so important. Nobody sees or touches the person during this test. It is absolutely accurate in women of all age groups, younger women, elderly women as well. And it is much, much more affordable than the current method. So even the developing countries or rural areas can get this test done, and we do that in a portable manner. We can actually take it to every home, every village, and do this. So this is one of the um, excellent tools that every lady needs to get tested every year once, so that we can stop deaths due to breast cancer, which is
Yeah.
634,000 lives every year. So anyway, thanks for allowing me to do this 2 minute pitch, because I really feel very deeply about because if women are watching this, first of all, you take care of your health. Second,
Yes.
take care of your breast health, because that's can kill you, right? It's one organ which can kill a person. In India alone, every 6 minutes, one person dying. So it's like really, really horrible. So, but it's one of the most curable of all the diseases. Having said that, coming to your question about women in offices, right? Enterprise and so on and so forth. Yeah. So basically, my single mantra to people, and what I have believed is that so which can make you give full potential of what you can offer and what you enjoy offering as well, is to forget your gender. So if you start thinking I'm the lady, single lady in the class, single person in the board, only 10 people, 10%, 5%, 1%, take that off. First of all, you are the engineer, you are the doctor, you are that person who is uh, you know um, who's contributing. So you be the human being that you are, rather than the female that you are. So I think that for me is a very, very important aspect, which mentally prepares oneself to be equal. First of all, we should feel equal, right? And
Yep.
that's when you'll start, contributing equally. So that I think is a primary, I always believe, and my father used to say when I was driving, any accidents can happen, but you only have 50% of the chances of making no action happen. So we have to be perfect in driving, right? So any bad things, sort of, there could be clashes, that you can blame the others, but what can you control? You can only control what you think, what you do, right? So that's how, when you go in, you actually can put in 100%, and rest of the barriers just disappear. You have to see that happen, right? Because when you stop thinking you're a lady and so on and so forth, others will also not see the bias. That's something I have felt myself, and so that's one main thing I would like to say. The second thing is that, again, starting with our own minds of the ladies, right? Females working. So we generally, of course, our behavior is different from male colleagues. So that gives a little bit of a hesitation in people to accept, possibly. The behavior could be like, doubting ourselves, doubting what we are saying. Am I 100% correct, and so on. Yeah, I mean, if you're not 100% confident about what you're saying, say that, and then go ahead and say it confidently, right? I mean, the point is, don't doubt what you know, right? You can be clear about what you don't know, because nobody can know everything. So even your male colleague will not know everything. It's just that, they're confident about what they know, and you are also. But also, it's a perception of confidence, right? What others think, whether you're confident or not. You're thinking you're confident. So these are some of the the behavioral aspects of the communication piece. That is one other aspect that we need to think about. But overall, it is about having the courage to take on challenges, being confident about what you know of your skills. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been selected for that position, for example, whichever role you're taking. So you deserve that role. You can continue to do it. So one is our own doubts in our mind, and also our own guilt, because obviously we are leaving family and coming. Uh, so that has an impact. But most of it is in our own mind, and if we fix that, the rest of the world will start looking equal. whether it is or
Yeah,
not. Yeah.
wonderfully said. I think very right. Moving to Saujanya, right before I get her thoughts on this, I want to introduce Saujanya. Saujanya has been, it's I mean, it's like a close friend, and we work together. And she's been I've seen her as a fierce person, running, what she wants and what she wants from every single meeting, right? So I've seen her work. I've seen her very closely as a mother, as a person leading the data. I mean, I think she's more passionate about data. She started with data, and she moved to Sweden uh, because of her husband's work, and then she did her masters in information systems, and then she then got back to work, and then managing the global product for Epiroc. So yeah, I think definitely a lot of the way you worked, and I mean, there are a lot of influence which I've taken from different people I'm working with, and definitely my own professional journey. There's a women leader who has actually shaped me as well. So I really credit my journey personally and professionally, to a lot of women who has been in my journey. So thank you so much, Sojanya. Then your thoughts on the question.
I have to first of all say that I'm really privileged to share the stage with Dr. Geeta. I think, it's so inspirational to hear from you. Just feel like one other drop in the ocean when I listen to your achievements. So
Everyone is.
it's yeah, of course. I mean, these drops is what contributes and pushes other women also to do better in what they're already doing. And thank you, Naga, as well, for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this wonderful conversation. I think Geeta ma'am rightly mentioned that you should let go of your inhibitions. And I mean, what's male or what's female? When you're doing a job, you're doing the job. Whether it's a male doing it or a female doing it, you're just trying to execute a certain activity, be it driving a scooter, driving a car, or, creating an algorithm to do something, tech wise. So when you give up on that inhibition, that's when you're able to progress, you're able to deliver, you're able to also, achieve what you want to achieve. And I think many of us struggle with I'm leaving my family behind, I'm doing work, I have to balance. But I think after becoming a mother, I started appreciating what my mother has done, because she was a working woman. She balanced her life. I mean, she was working in a central government job, and she had to do shifts. So she planned her, when I was really young, she planned her shifts. So she's there for me when I'm back from school. And that's what I try to take from her. And working in a global company, I think that opportunity I have got from my company as well, to be flexible in terms of work, be there for my son when I need to be. And like you said, Naga, I mean, when I get into a meeting, I just look at getting the job done. You don't have to see who's sitting in
Hmm.
front of you. It could be, I mean, I can sit when I sit in my management calls. I'm the only woman in a bunch of men, but it really doesn't matter as long as you're getting your thoughts across. You're having that what do you say, positive, constructive discussions with your colleagues, whether male or female. It should not matter.
Hmm.
I would like to just, I think just a couple of weeks ago, we were just having a chat with some of my friends, and one of the friend's son is just turned 18, learning driving. She said, yeah, boys, they learn really quickly. It kind of instigated me. I said, there's nothing like that. You
Hmm.
teach a boy or a girl, you make them sit in the car, tell them to press the clutch, accelerator, brake, they'll know how to drive. It's nothing to do whether it's a boy learning or a girl learning. So, and like Geeta ma'am also rightly said, my dad has been a major contributor. He's like, I know growing up, he was pushed by the other women in our lives, grandparents, grandmothers, mother, and like, she's a girl. But he said, I remember there was an incident where he told that it didn't matter. She's like the son we don't have, or I mean, however you see it, she's the daughter who can do everything for us. So dad has been a major contributor. And then, of course, my husband, he's very supportive on every step I take. And he challenges me to do more than what I'm doing today. So, yeah, family is a major strength, I think. And when they can push you, I mean, you will deliver. That's it.
Thank you, Sojanya. That's I mean, that's true. I mean, family should definitely support in all aspects, right? So, the other question I have is more related to this, right? So, if you see I looked at the survey from the Indian Express as well in terms of the board member, how many board uh, positions which the female takes. So, if you look at it globally as well as in India, it is very, very less. So, compared to the percentage is probably it was 2021 around 13.8%, and then 2023 it's somewhere 18.3 in terms of the overall, but it's still less than the global percentage of 24. So what do you what do you think that what as a organization everybody has to do to actually give more prioritize leadership positions where women can take up, right? Or do you still see that as a challenge in terms of getting there from your own experience?
I mean, for us, our company, the CEO is a woman. So, in if I talk about where I work today, we have a lot of drive to push women in managerial positions, women in technology. You have, I mean, I know when Helena Hedblom, she became the CEO, she was probably the only board member. I think today we have a couple of more women in the board. I don't know the exact number, but companies should strive to have more female representation, but that doesn't mean you should compromise on quality of resources you're getting in. That's a balance. That's a balance to strike, and that's a challenge as well. I mean, I get into interviews. You have a very good female candidate, and then you have a very good male candidate. Should and somewhere when you weigh the pros and cons of the candidate, uh, you should not be forced to select the female candidate because you want to increase your percentage of diversity in the company. But at the same time, you should also look at what works for you, and that's a challenge, and that's a balance that as a when you're trying to recruit, that it becomes a very difficult thing. I know last week we had this conversation. Should we look at women in tech? Should we look at keeping our own people and moving them around? It's very difficult. I mean, for me, if I'm not sitting in the board, this is a challenge. I can imagine at the board level it's even more challenging. But you have if you've spent x number of years, or you've spent a good number of years in a company and you're moving up the ladder, I think then I don't see why it's a challenge to get into that level. What you should specifically do, I don't think that's an answer anyone will be able to give, but I think it's more of uh, pushing and promoting the people you see they are capable. They should be brought up, rather than oh, she's a woman, she's emotional, she cannot take some decisions. That mindset should start going away. And yeah, the whole thing of gender, as long as they're delivering, that should move out. That's when we'll progress as I mean, individuals, I guess.
Thank you. Dr. Geeta, your thoughts on, I mean, I know you're running a company, and you might be seeing that when you were with HP or with Xerox and leading the AI lab, so how has been the transition, right? How has been the situation at that point in time in terms of, prioritizing women on the leadership levels? And as an organization, Niramai, or even with, your peers, you looking at the other entrepreneurs, are they really prioritizing or giving opportunity to women in terms of the boards or decision making, or do you still see that as a challenge when it comes to
So
the?
I was going to shout back when you said prioritizing women.
No, I think
So
this was okay. Go
thanks
ahead.
for giving opportunity. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I'm so
yeah.
direct. I am. Okay. So you
No,
said
that's all
giving
good.
opportunities. That is fair,
Yeah,
right? But nobody needs to prioritize somebody. I think that's what Saujanya was saying. It's really we're just saying equal, right? That's all. We're not saying
yeah.
this is higher than that, right? So there's nothing like prioritizing. But having said that, there were some nice rules that, for example, Xerox followed. Which one of them, I think it's something. If I'm not mistaken, Wilson's rule or something like that, which basically what it said was for any of the important positions, typically all positions, but hopefully the top positions for sure. There will be five shortlisted candidates, right? And
Mhm.
as in, like, these are the five people who did well out of hundreds, a lot of people you actually interview, shortlist, resume, whatever, right? So there'll be five shortlisted people, and in that there should be a lady. Otherwise, you're not progressing for the final selection. So now, of course, it's all big, equal merit. Fourth, you may find it very easily because there are lots of men who are sort of visible, qualified, and so on. But the fifth position is kept vacant. You don't proceed until you find a lady to that position. So this is, there's nothing, it's just that because there are fewer women, fewer, I mean, I think we can talk about in a number of people graduating, what percentage and all of that. I'm not on top of it, but we clearly know that there is a difference, right? Imbalance in the number of people who are probably fitting in terms of the world, right? There are fewer number of women, qualifying tick mark in the list of requirements that you have for the job, right? So from that perspective, it is easier to find male to fill all the five positions. But if you keep the fifth position open and look hard enough to find the right candidate, this female candidate, that is one thing that I don't know whether it was followed for all position, but I knew as a manager, I knew that that was a rule that was there. And again, it doesn't mean that among the five she was prioritized or anything. She's there. Then you do the interview in the way it's usually done, and that's good enough to start with. Remaining the best win, right? It should be because the company is the priority at the moment. I think this is one aspect, that I really liked, to at least show to people there are quite a few women who are good, and of course, in some cases they were selected, some cases they were not. And also, I used to make sure that in my lab, as a woman, when a lady is taken in, what is very important is the person who's got the job or her colleagues should never feel she got the job because she was a lady. Okay, so there is no reducing the bar. There is no reducing the bar, whether it's me or anyone else. We have come to that position because we deserve it.
Sorry.
That's it. But if she comes thinking that they reduced the bar, prioritized women, so sorry, I'm going to pick you on that. But there's
That's
nothing
okay.
prioritizing. There's no prioritizing, no reducing the bar. They are equal, they are capable. By the way, there are tons of capable women who can take that role. Okay, and they deserve it, and they come there. So when that is happening, when you start feeling that it was prioritized, it was women, then first of all, others will not look at her as her own colleague, and then it is not, it's a harder battle up, right? The acceptance is difficult. So this is the second part. You are there because you deserve it, right? And I used to, that's one. The third one, which you know uh, we saw it work, is having a lady in the interview panel, right? Of course, a bootstrapping issue, but so then what happens? The lady candidates are feeling little bit more comfortable when they are speaking, right? Not everyone will have the sort of the courage and confidence and so on and so forth. But seeing a lady in the interview, so even when we went to, let's say, IIT interviews, even for let's say uh, campus hires, right? We used to send a lady. It was a conscious call. We used to send a lady, qualified. I mean, again, everyone there are qualified, right, to be in their role. So they used to go, and so one of we respect it. Even for a graduate entry, we used to do that. So these are some a few of the things that we followed, and I'm very proud of all of my female team members. They're as equal, and also sometimes I feel they just go out all out uh, to contribute, beyond duty, midnight. I myself have done it. We may have kids, we may have to take care, but after they go to sleep, you get up and open the laptop. And this I have seen in every team member, female team member. I can depend on them. Of course, even my male team members are very, very sincere and all of those, but I've seen very, very much dependency of that, and it's like a family. We also have to reciprocate. There will be days where mother-in-law is not well, father-in-law is not well, taking. Similarly, even for male teammates, we will have that. So Nowadays we are seeing, thankfully, right, both the parents taking the responsibility for the child and so on and so forth. In those cases, at that time, we used to say work from home is fine, but now, like, work from home is the norm, right? So there's no privilege of working from home. But so these are some of the small things that we can do, and also enabling people to take a break, and enabling them to come back, not full time, come back half time, right? You can apply leave. There is no, again, prioritizing, no moves, nothing, right? If they're coming part time, that is number of hours is just notion, but they're available at odd times, right? So the number of, let's say, from 8 hours to 4 hours, if you reduce, it is just to reduce their guilt at the office. See, women have too much of guilt. That's the problem, right? So when we're at office, we're thinking, oh, we are left the kids, right? We are at home, we're thinking, I'm not finished that thing. It's crazy. I tell you, it's crazy. And hats off to all women who are contributing despite this. And it will be everyone, I'm sure. Right? Sajanya
Definitely.
is, I think she's agreeing too. And this is it's very difficult to get over. It's very difficult to
Yeah.
get over. Right. So that, to remove that guilt of the office, you say it's part-time, you're paid half. Usually
Hmm.
many are not coming in just for salary. It's really to show, to what did you say, unleash the potential. I was trying to use the word here, right?
Hmm.
Because there is talent, and if they want to work, there is passion to contribute. We should let them do it. It many times it's, that's why they contribute very well. And I really love, to have really that passionate employee, male or female, in the team. Really, it's almost, you can they can own up any task, and it's almost like the founder type activity you see, right? So that's the kind of contribution I have seen in most of my team members who are female as well.
Thank you. I think you're saying the policy to be more flexible and trying to, have flexibility in terms of even getting back women even after they let's say it's a maternity and they want to come back. So how do we give prior? I mean, understand their need and then trying to, get them back. So the reason I'll just come back because there's a
No, no, no.
specific book.
You're not wrong. This is the
No,
common
no,
word that is
yeah,
used.
no,
But
I specifically
I
noted
am,
down.
I am like direct.
No, no,
I
I
talk.
hear you. I hear you. The reason, right, there is a specific book which is written by Maureen Davina Al. So where she said that when we talk about empowerment, ma'am, right? So when we say women empowerment, she specifically talks very clearly writes that empowerment is like something you're granting of the power. So the right of authority to perform something. So basically, we are trying to, as a society, grant something to the this women or girl to do. So but ideally speaking, it should be, that's an injustice. So we didn't go to the root cause of, why that came in first place. So then she said, instead of looking at it that way as empowerment, look at it as how do we in an organization setup or, in everywhere, in your life, to bring the priority of, this shouldn't have been there in the first place. So that's why, I was trying to note that. But yeah, I take point well taken. So I think it is an effort from organization, family, and see how we can help women to succeed. With, as you said, there is a lot of crazy amount of it's not task which is going on. It's not just single task. I mean, I think women are wired to do multitasking, right? And there is a lot of different priorities in life at different stages. So, but how do we balance that? Help is definitely important. So I think on the specific question on the family and balancing it, I have, I mean, I just collected some questions from few of my friends as well, right? What they wanted to ask. So one of the questioners came in, right? How do you, when it comes to getting back to work after a pause, you've taken a sabbatical, or probably you had a situation at family or a maternity for that matter. So getting back to work has been a challenge to a lot of women, where they probably feel that they have lost their, let's say, 4 5 years. Probably they're not up to date with their skills. So they couldn't find time to actually upskill, or technically, maybe if they also feel that less lack of self confidence. Okay, at this point in time, when I go into the market for a job interview, maybe I'm be less skilled from the people who are working all throughout and trying for that same position, right? So what is your thoughts on that, Dr. Geeta, and how do you think women should actually get over that self doubt, and go toward, you know achieve their goal.
Yeah, so here, many of the things you said are true, right? Are true. Not everyone is able to come back at the same level of potential and commitment. So one thing I already mentioned, right? So let them not come back full time, so the expectation is less, and so on, and they can start with part time activity as early as possible, right? I remember for my second child, I think within 4 months I was back, right? My first child was back after 6 months. So
Okay.
so I also, I mean, it's the craze of, tech craze or something. I always kept touch with my emails all the time, right? So you did not answer. Obviously, you have put a vacation missing, but keeping on top of what's happening, in the company, and then in the environment, technical environment, or if you're a techie, I mean, there are different types of roles, people. But if in tech role, I think it's important to keep in touch with what's happening at the company at a high level at least, and I think keeping in touch during the break is also important to be able to come back with the same potential, I mean, same confidence and same, or there will always be a little bit of ramp up period, but come back to the same level of contribution. So that both of these are important. That is, don't come. I mean, at least my suggestion is don't come back full time immediately. Though
Hmm.
of course the company would have already given maternity leave and so on. They would expect, but if it's good for both of us, the company and the lady, to start and then ramp up in that period. And the lady should behave as if she's full time, though it is not. I mean, I'm not saying like, so that mentally she's prepared to be there. This is my own. I don't know with any books say this. This is my own experience. That's it. Anything Saujanya may want to add, maybe.
Yes, Saujanya, what's your? I mean, she has done it successfully, and she's been doing it. So, from your experience, the upskilling of, what how it helped you, or what was the catalyst for you from your end?
I think, I mean, I can speak out of experience. I've had a break twice. One was when we moved to Sweden for my husband's job. No one gave you a job because you didn't speak the local language. That was a challenge. I mean, you wouldn't learn till you got an opportunity. But that's when I happened to get a chance to do my masters. I pursued my masters in informatics, and then immediately you were on. I was able to secure a job because I did a master's thesis and everything. So that went quite smooth after doing the masters. I think the challenge was when I uh, gave birth to my son, and then in Sweden, your maternity leave is an year or more. Both parents included, we get around 400 days of parental break. And I think after 9 months, my hands and legs started itching. I couldn't stay at home. It was difficult. My in-laws were with us then, supporting us, and I think they said, "You want to go, you go." And like Geeta ma'am rightly said, I started off doing 4 5 hours
Hmm.
of work, and my team was okay with it. I came back home early, took care of the baby, and what was needed to be done then. And if late in the evening when he slept, maybe a couple of hours of email and response and things like that. But that's when I realized I kind of lost touch with technology, because I was very passionate about analytics, data, doing hands-on. And then I felt, now I don't think I am there. And that's when the whole cloud boom happened. And everyone was moving cloud, and there was a lot of things that I felt, okay, I feel I'm like 2 steps behind. And then I approached my manager and I expressed my interest in moving more towards a managerial role. There you are more trained to handle situations, and you don't really have to be 100% technology based. So I think I have to be thankful to him as well, because he immediately said, yeah, we I'm more than happy to bring you on, because we need more women in those positions as well. So this is, it kind of, it things fell in place and continued, and then we had to move back during COVID, really challenge, and I was able to move through the job. I mean, and then you have my husband supporting. He said, I will take care for a few months, and he was helpful. So, in that sense, both the breaks, I started off low, family support, most important. I think that is where it's really important that you have the right set of people coming together to push you and do things. So, yeah, that's how I see it.
Absolutely. Family support is absolutely important. I think, especially the husband has to be supportive. I mean, otherwise it becomes very difficult.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think most of the points, how the family is supporting, at least all successful, whoever is being able to succeed in their career is definitely with support of family. Even with kid, there is no barrier when you become mom or when you're taking a break and trying to upskill and come back. So thank you so much for that thoughts. And the other one, I mean, who has been your inspiration, in your journey, Dr. Geeta? I mean, you talked about. I know a lot of times you talked about your father. So in your personal journey, I think probably he is your inspiration. But then
I
from
think
the
both my parents for sure. I Yeah, more talked about my father more for his. I've started using the word joy of fixing that he
hmm,
built in me. Like how to fix things. Which is broken in front of you, like if tap is leaking, fixing it. And in fact, my children were used to call him repair tata, right? Because everything he wanted to repair himself, right? Because that joy of doing it yourself, and I feel that was there when I saw my cousin sister die very early because of breast cancer. It's not about the joy part of it, but the responsibility of fixing it rather than letting somebody else fix it, So I think that main aspect of it is something I definitely, and also enjoying and doing what you like and liking what you do, what they say, right? So that is aspect which I really learned from my father. My mother is actually a musician, is a musician, and of course now she's unable to sing much, but so she managed, like Sojan was saying, at home, and she was working from home because the teaching, music teaching was from home. But then she didn't manage. She had many students coming in, and so she used to finish off the cooking aspect early and then go off. And so I'd seen her manage both well as well. I think both continue to be my inspiration at home. In general, there are lots of people outside home who have given good advice, and mentored in different aspects of it, So throughout my
any
journey, like if I
any
name a
such
few,
specific person
I
you
know
want
if I
to
name a
remember?
few, I think I'll be leaving out
Okay,
so many. I
others.
can say many people in my journey.
But it's definitely inspirational. I think how do you taking your personal experience of fixing your father to actually fix a problem of the society? Again, looking at something happening to somebody close, and then how you want to, help the society in, curbing that happening for a lot of women out there. So, which is a very noble cause. I mean, I really got inspired when I first heard about Niramaya and what you're doing. It's really amazing to.
Yeah.
See how it's venturing across the world now. Hope to see much more accolades there.
We are in
Saujanya,
Sweden. We should talk, Sojourner.
Yes.
yeah, we should do you should do an Epiroc for a screening. I should talk to Helena.
Yeah, I mean, we have almost thousands of women already screened in Sweden, so we should talk.
Yeah.
It's approved, by the way. It's all
Mm.
regulated. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
Thanks
yeah,
for
of
giving me
course.
a customer.
So, what are your inspirations, Arjun? Yeah, I mean, be it more professionally or from personal standpoint, somebody who you've been looked up, you looked up to them, and then try to help your career.
I think, I mean, of course, your parents, grandparents, in different ways, they would have influenced you, and it's hard to pinpoint. You learn a lot of things, and as you grow, you realize, oh, my mother was doing this as
Hmm.
well when I was growing up, or father was also doing this when I was growing up. And same with grandparents, you would have seen them doing something for you, and when you see your children doing, and you kind of replicate that. So a lot of inspiration from family, and on a daily basis, I think I get a lot of push from my husband. I mean, I think I've spoken a lot about him as well. He is really the support system even today. I mean, you talked about being relevant in today's world. He tells me you need to challenge yourself. You need to do something new to be more relevant. And I think I learn a lot from him every single day. So family, parents, grandparents, and husband. I mean, my son comes back home from school, and maybe something new I would have learned from him as well. So uh, you just cannot ignore it. And like Geeta ma'am said, if I start naming people in the professional world, I think you're sure to miss somebody. But I think I can definitely name. This is about 15 years ago when I just started working, and I was working for a client in US. I think I got when I quit the job because I was moving, I got a really inspirational mail from one of the clients there. And that has kind of pushed, and she was a lady as well. So when you get that from another woman, you're like, yeah, you want to be something like that tomorrow to another woman or another man, doesn't matter, another
Yeah.
person. You should be able to write such an email to another person. So that I think I can definitely quote as a inspiration.
Thank you. I think my last question would be on, especially when I talk, because we and my wife talk a lot, and about, she took a break, she wanted to get back, and and a lot of times she feels that, okay, I keep telling her, challenge yourself, and do. It's not that you limit yourself to what you've learned earlier, so you can try out something different. So you can always venture into something new, any time of your any point in life, right? So I think, what is your one message to encourage women out there to actually say, okay, sometimes I feel that a lot of time when I talk to my friends, or people who are having to balance their work and the family, they say, okay, I think I'm in a position, probably I don't want to continue, maybe there's too much of turmoil going, maybe I need to slow down. So what is your message for them to not to give up, right? How do you encourage them to say, what what has pushed you forward, and what is your message for them? I mean, one
I
message.
think, I mean,
Yeah.
if I may start, Geeta ma'am. One thing I would say, when I was growing up, we had a good grandparent support system. And today, there are nuclear families for multiple reasons, of course. You are moved to a different city for work or whatever. But the avenues are a lot today, where you have, these daycare systems which are really helping you in different ways. They are help. I mean, the Ajimane concept is back, which is like a grandparent's house, but it's a daycare. So I've seen a lot of these, especially in Bangalore. And I personally know a lady who runs such an institution. I mean, those kind of things are a great help to women today, or families, leave alone women. Maybe it's a man who wants to, take a break, wants to learn something and go back to work. So those things have been of great help. I've seen in my own case during COVID, I had the same lady, she was running it in our apartment. She would take my son for a couple of hours, and I was able to get a lot of work done. And, those kind of things are really helpful today. If you do not have the liberty to have your parents with you for whatever reason, so those kind of things have become very popular. I think we need to encourage these kind of systems. Children also learn when they grow with children, they learn better. So that way, as a parent, you're more, calm. Probably my child is in safe hands. That's how I see it. And I think those things you should utilize what you get. So then you're not holding yourself back. Then you're able to do what you want to do as well. So that way you have more options, more opportunities today compared to 20, 30 years ago.
Absolutely. So just to add, I think I'll start from the last bit that Sojana mentioned. Uh, First of all, I think we need to question, the lady needs to question whether she really wants to do it, right? And if she wants to do it, there are many ways to get that done. I think that is like a soul searching aspect of it, right? Because it's perfectly fine to be with the baby for 3 years, 4 years, whatever, right? It's perfectly fine. But you just have to ask yourself about it, right? But if you feel deeply that you want to come back and you are kind of trying to balance, it perfectly fine or double fine as well, right? And for that, definitely there are ways. Definitely, as Saujanya mentioned, you can taste the water or whatever it, touch the water, like, send the baby when you're still at home. Send, keep the baby for 1 hour. Try, make sure you. So do all that, because obviously we want our children to have the best life, and like I mentioned, the guilt and all of that, right? So it's not that person who is looking after, staying back, uh, as a mother versus going mother loves less. It's there's nothing like that. And if not, we feel so guilty that we want to spend our quality time with the babies, right? So, but if you want to do it, I think you should follow your heart. And it's better not to be frustrated and impact that in some fashion on the baby, right? On the growing child. I think that is more harmful, right? Being, oh, I should have been there, and but you're taking care of the baby at home, right? So I think we can definitely find ways in which
Ways.
you can make sure that the baby is in safe hands. Thousands, millions of women are doing it, and their children are, I'm very proud of both of my kids, what they have going to become and all of that. So I hope, of course, they would have felt, oh, my mummy should have come here and all. I'm sure, I'm very thankful for their understanding, otherwise it wouldn't have happened. So, but having said that, I think first you ask that question yourself
Mm.
deeply, and then, of course, I think all the good stuff that Saujanya mentioned about leaving the baby with people. I had the luxury in the first baby case that my mother-in-law was with us. So, of course, still we had some help and so on and so forth. But yeah, something like that. You can have a combination also. Because you're working, you can afford to have a help at home, right? So that you can reduce your guilt of burdening the mother-in-law or mother. But of course, if you have an extended family, it's always helpful. But otherwise, yeah, like Sojana said, there are homes for which just somebody else's home, but they can make it look like your home.
Absolutely. I think there's a very valid, a nice quote which I took. Taking it. The soul searching is you need to really look at what you want to do, or whether you really want to do this, or how do you want to make it work. I mean, if you really have that answer, then probably whatever, there are multiple ways or venues to actually get that done. So yeah, that's true. I know.
Awesome.
I think we are at 47 minutes, but I didn't want to let Dr. Geeta stay for a long. But thank you so much for joining this conversation. I would love to have much more deeper conversation, but I think we can do a separate talk on Niramai for sure, Geeta
Yeah,
ma'am. And
definitely.
thank you for joining, and have a good day, rest of the day, and wish all the best
Thank
for
you.
Niramai. Thank you,
Thank you so
Saujanya.
much,
Thanks
Naga.
for
Thank you,
joining.
Pleasure
Saujanya.
meeting you, Dr. Geet.
Very nice meeting you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Yeah,
you.
thank you so
Bye-bye.
much. Bye,
Thank you,
Saujanya.
Naga. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.